Hey, this is Paul from Les Bonds Guitars and welcome back to my shop. So if you're like me, you've struggled with resawn lumber. I have throughout the years. In the early years, I messed some stuff up. It would either, I'd get these wavy cuts and it would just ruin the piece and end up being too thin for what I want to use it for. So I've learned that the way to achieve a nice resawn piece of lumber for a book match top is to have the right equipment, the right type of blades, stuff like that. So we're going to use several tools here in this video to show you how I make book match tops. So right here I have two curly maple tops right here, and they're going to be resawn, and they're going to be for carved tops. So it'll be a little more than a 1/2 inch thick carved tops. I'm going to use several tools. I'm going to use a bandsaw, and that's going to fillet them open for me, like a book match. But prior to that, I'm going to use a table saw with a thin kerf, a finished blade in it. And that's the trick. It gets that one edge really nice so that when you open them up, they'll pretty much glue up together seamlessly. You may have to sand just a hair or something, maybe just a little bit, but that's the first step you want to do, is get that edge nice and straight. And then we're going to get them to the bandsaw over here, and I've got a wood slicer blade in it. It's a 3/4 inch wide one. It's a thin kerf. It leaves a nice smooth cut, and it's mixing a nice straight cut so that when you take it to the planer later, you don't have to take as much off of the face of the open book match, so you don't lose a lot of that figure that you're looking to match up with. So this video is going to be about that. I'm going to show you how I get a nice perfect book match piece of lumber for a maple top and glue them together. Okay, like I said earlier, the first order of business is getting this edge that you want to glue up nice and squared up. So, and you don't have to take much off. These boards have been through this before. I've sized them up to what they are, and I'm just going to kiss this edge and take a little bit off. As you can see, I barely touch it, but it's nice and smooth and it's going to be squared up. Now we're going to take this over to the bandsaw and resaw it open. Alright, so I've set up my fence. So this wood slicer blade will cut right down the middle of this piece of wood. I don't want to waste a whole lot of material either. I don't want one thicker than the other. If it does end up that way, as long as you got enough wiggle room, you're okay, because when you go to the planer, it's gonna even things out. But this blade is a wood slicer blade for Highland Woodworking. I'm not affiliated with them, but I'm just telling where I got it. And it's a 3/4 inch wide. It's a very thin kerf, so it takes very little meat out of it, and it's just a very sharp, perfect slicing blade. And I've squared everything up. I made sure that it was all squared up, the blade squared up to the table, and the fence is squared up and all that. So I'm going to get a nice clean cut. Alright, here we go. Push block. Okay, now I'm going to send them through the planer, and I'm going to take as little as possible off of them. This is the book match piece right here. Surface on that side and that side already. We're just going to do these sides. Okay, we got two very flat pieces, 1/2 inch thick, and we got a perfect joint there. That's seamless. It's a seamless joint. That's what you want. Looks like one piece. All right, let's get them glued up. So I've got the 3 clamps. I always put a little plastic on it just because it sticks to these type of clamps with the pole, with the I don't know what you call it, metal tubing, and kind of puts marks on it. Not that's a big deal, but because it'll sand out. But I try to eliminate all the issues I can. So, and I take a piece of sandpaper, nice and flush, and just go along this edge one time just to rough it up with this 120 grit. It's just for adhesion. Okay, get any kind of dust out of it, off of it. And then we're going to put a little glue on here. And it doesn't take a whole lot of glue. Sometimes these, you've seen in my other videos, you've probably seen where I've glued this size, this thickness of a top and a different kind of setup. This is definitely not enough glue here, but sometimes you can do it just with pressure, just like how I do with thin tops. I just kind of set them up so they're like a teepee, and then push down. The pressure of pushing them down and then put some weights on it just is enough to glue them down, glue them together. Today, the finger is the spreader, which is a pretty good spreader. Actually, the finger works good. I'm not going to worry about too much about squeeze out or anything like that. We're going to deal with it, and then we'll kind of work these together a little bit. Let's get this one a little more centered. I'm going to glue them up. I like to make sure that they're nice and flush. Start with the center. If it moves a little bit, just get it lined back up. I'm looking at the grain. I know I got a mark on here, but I'm really looking at the grain, or the figure. Not really the grain, but the figure. Make sure they're nice and flush down. Get a little bit of the squeeze out. Take care of. Not too bad. Okay, then I got these blocks. They got a little cutaway over here. It spans the glue joint. And you're gonna have some glue squeeze out in the bottom, but I got the plastic on there, so it's not gonna do me any good to try to get at it to clean it. I'm just gonna let it go. Now this is gonna keep the boards nice and flush with each other. Looks good. All right, guys, so I just took it out of the clamps. Of course, I got to clean up the back a little bit, but this is the part that shows, and it's seamless. I mean, I still got a little bit of glue to get off there, but if you can see it here, it's pretty flawless. See how close I can get to this. I don't see the line, do you? Anyway, that's the way we do it. It's gonna be a nice top. So this process works out good for me. I have great results doing it this way. Start on a table saw, get that nice edge with the piece still intact in one piece. Set that edge down on the table of the bandsaw, and that keeps everything squared up against your fence. Cut it right down the middle. And then when you join them together, they're ready. Sometimes, if it doesn't work out, if it's a little bit of space or something, you can go back to the table saw. But make sure you put the pieces back the way they come opened up. And you can do them individually. Just run one through the bandsaw. Take the other one that's flipped over the other way and run that edge through the bandsaw. I mean, not the bandsaw, but the table saw. And you can get the same results. So, anyway. If you like what you've seen here today, go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Please do. And I got more content like this coming up. I know I'm doing some other videos. I got a series going on. It's taking me a little while to get it done because there's so much going on here. I got a lot of work right now, but that's a good thing. So this is part of the work I got going on. I got a couple of these carved tops to do. So be patient, and I'll try to get that last video out. Hopefully it's just one last video. But I've got some more stuff, small kind of things like this to show you guys. So stay tuned. All right, I'll see you again next time.